a chicken and white bean chili with some chorizo and some cilantro and parsley kind of herb rice to go with it with a little bit of garlic. So we're getting a little fancy. That's what we want, right? But it's not actually that fancy, so don't get scared. All right, so everything you see, you know, that I have right here, all this stuff cost me less than $20. Okay, you know, you just follow the ads in your store. You know, just, you know, the cheese was on sale, the corn was on sale, the ground chicken, the tree, all this stuff was on sale. So that's what I'm following, and that's how I just get my ideas. I kind of just come up with it out. I work at a grocery store, so I mean, I kind of have the luxury of thinking about it and looking at stuff all day. So it kind of gives me ideas, which is good for y'all. So I got, you know, chicken stock, unsalted as usual, spinach. I got some Italian blend, just aged Italian blend cheese. Some cannelli beans, white cannelli beans, frozen corn, chili powder, oregano dried, cumin, and red chili flake. I got fresh garlic, red pepper, jasmine rice, leftover piece of onion, cilantro, curly Italian flat leaf parsley. They kind of look similar but smell very different. So I got, all you're gonna need is 2 pans. This one's gonna be for the chili, this one's gonna be for the rice, and then we're gonna have a landing zone over here for our chicken and our chorizo, because we're gonna kind of cook everything in stages and then bring it all together. So let's see, we're probably gonna need a decent sized landing zone for this. So what I'm gonna do first is start by just browning off the ground chicken and the chorizo. So what I'm gonna do is, I have this little mini cutting board here just for kind of cut some stuff that I don't want to have to sanitize my cutting board afterwards. So we're gonna use this whole thing of ground chicken. This is just, I mean, I'm not sponsored by Purdue. Obviously, that'd be amazing if I was, but I'm not. This is just ground chicken. Sorry, someone was just calling me. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I'm glad I didn't disrupt the stream. I hope not. Okay, cool, it didn't. All right. We get all these random robocalls recently. Anyway, so this is just ground chicken. This is not just breast, this is everything, so thigh and everything like that. And I got some just fresh chorizo here. I'm only gonna use probably like 2 of these. So what we're gonna do is just go ahead and get these ready since we're here. So I'm gonna take out 2 of these. I'm just gonna cut them out of the casing, because I want it to kind of be ground like the chicken, so everything's kind of even. So we're gonna put that back in the fridge. All right. I still need to get more light over here, huh? So basically just cut it right down the middle, just watch your fingers. And then what you can do is you can just take it like that and it will just literally peel right off. Kind of looks gross, but it is what it is. So now what we'll do is we're just gonna kind of crumble that in to the pan when we're ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of wipe off our knife with some of the soap here. Just kind of keep everything clean and consistent. Shit, I missed, but you didn't see that. All right, so this pan's getting warm. I'm gonna turn up a little bit here. So basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna kind of brown the chicken and the chorizo more or less together. And once they get kind of browned off nice and all that fat's kind of rendered out, that's when we're gonna come over here and start cooking off our vegetables and everything. This dish will probably take maybe, I mean, you can cook it for an hour or more and it'll be better. I'm obviously not gonna do that. But it'll probably take about anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. I will prep as I go. You could always just prep everything at once and then cook it all at once, but I kind of like to do things as I go and kind of multitask. So that way I can just kind of work and make it a little bit quicker on things. So I have this leftover onion from last stream, if you watched it, making the pork chop. So I'm gonna use this leftover onion. I had to buy more garlic because I ran out. So we're just gonna prep our vegetables here. So what I'm gonna do is just cut the end of that tip off again, because we're gonna dice this onion because we want it to be all kind of consistent size. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna be Rachel Ray today, and we're gonna have a garbage bowl. Shout out to Rachel Ray if she's watching. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So let's get this onion diced up nice while this thing's heating up. It's almost where we want it. You don't really have to worry about this pan right now because the rice is going to come later. So like I did before, again, about a 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch up the onion. Do another one about the same distance and another one about the same distance. Some onions you can get 3, some onions you can get 2, some onions you can get like 4 or 5 depending on how big they are. So just be careful, be safe, and kind of just use your best judgment on how many you need. Again, the onion's curved, so we're gonna cut curved and not just straight down until they get up to the top, and then we're gonna curve again, right? And then all these kind of little pieces that fall off we can dice in a second, but now we'll go down this way and get nice little square pieces. Again, we're not going for perfection here, but the closest you can get to the same size, the better. And I like mine a little bit smaller so that way they cook a little bit faster and you don't really have to worry about biting into like a giant chunk of onion or anything like that while you're trying to eat your chili. So all right, so all that just kind of fell off. It's kind of the waxy part of the onion anyway, so we don't really need it. All right, so I got my onion diced. Next I'm gonna do my pepper. This has already all been washed and everything like that. I'm not gonna show you that boring stuff. So that's almost there. So we're gonna cut down the pepper like we did before. Avoiding the seeds, you're kind of just cutting around it. That way you're cutting around that rib as well. So I'm gonna use this whole pepper because I don't really have a use for it otherwise. And that's what you're left with, just a seed pod. Even though I have my garbage bowl there, I don't know why I did that. Then we're gonna cut these remaining ribs out because like I said, they're bitter. And I don't like them. If you like them, by all means, leave them in there, but I doubt you know if you like them, so just cut them out. A little bit's fine. It's not gonna hurt or disrupt anything, but I just like to get them out. It makes it look cleaner, plus it's easier to cut. All right, so again, what we're gonna do, make sure you got these seeds off my knife. We're just gonna kind of come down in about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch strips, about a 1/4 inch, and then again another 1/4 inch. And then you got nice sized peppers. I'm gonna leave my peppers a little bit bigger than my onions because I kind of want to see those in the chili because they'll make it a nice color, right? You'll see those kind of red kind of squares floating through there, and plus it'll kind of hold their flavor and texture a little bit better if they don't cook quite as much as the onion. But if you don't like pepper, you can leave it out. You can do green pepper, you can do yellow pepper, orange pepper, it doesn't matter, whatever pepper is your favorite, whatever your favorite color is. I happen to like red bell pepper because they have a little bit more flavor to them. Generally a little bit sweeter, not like a lot more than a green onion, in my opinion. Maybe not, kind of just depends. But like I said, do you, whichever is your favorite. And you could add jalapeno in here too. I don't want it super spicy. I kind of want this more like a kind of like it's gonna be like an in-between mixture of like a soup and a chili almost. So that's kind of what we're striving for. All right, so I got a This is kind of like a, I don't even know, I guess it's like a plastic heat-proof spoon that I got in culinary school, my culinary school kit. And I love it because, you know, you can use it, doesn't scratch the bottom of your pan and everything like that. All right, so we're gonna put a little bit of oil down just to kind of help get things going here, to kind of facilitate that fat rendering. Kind of let that come up, kind of swish it around. Again, I need to open a window because I don't want to turn that hood vent on and blast you guys, because this GoPro's already pretty loud, so I don't want to go nuts on y'all. So what we'll do is we'll kind of crumble this up into the pan. I like to use my hands. You don't have to, but it just helps get it a little bit smaller pieces. You can always just stick the whole thing in there and break it up with a spoon if you want, if you don't want to touch it. If you want to wear gloves, do you? I don't really care. I'm gonna wash my hands anyway, so. All right, so that's done. We don't need that anymore. I forgot to unload my dishwasher before this stream. That's all right. All right, so the chorizo's kind of browning. Just kind of letting it do its thing here. I'm just gonna wait and brown the chicken separately, actually. I don't want to crowd this pan too much and not get a nice little brownish. Brown food tastes good, you know what I mean? All right, so we're gonna let that go. I'm gonna cut my chicken open here and just have this kind of ready to go in when the time is right. So we're almost kind of done prepping. Actually, this isn't a lot of prep work you got to do. And we're gonna take our garlic and try to get some whole cloves here. Oh, this is fresh, huh? Nice. You can tell because it's a little bit purple still. Yeah, we'll do 3 cloves. That should be enough. And actually, for this application, I'm actually gonna dice it up and mince it. I know I always say sliced garlic is better, but in this case, in a chili, I think it will do better in kind of the diced mince form. All right, so this is kind of browning up. I don't want to cook it like all the way through because we're gonna kind of add it back to the soup, so it'll always finish cooking then. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out. Actually, I need a better spoon to take it out with. Handy dandy slotted spoon. All right, so handy dandy slotted here. Kind of bring it over onto the landing zone. That way we can leave that fat behind that we're gonna brown the chicken in. That way we're just kind of keeping the flavor going throughout. I'm also gonna have these videos on my YouTube as well, which is just, I think, youtube.com/Canigan. I don't know if they operate the same way as Twitch. I'm still kind of figuring that out, but just search Canigan on YouTube and you'll just look for the same logo that I have on Twitch, and that's me. All right. So for this, I'm going to kind of lean this brick out a little bit and just kind of press it in there and kind of let it fall apart. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit, and we're going to wash our hands again because we just touched raw chicken. I really need to fill, every stream I've said I'm going to fill that soap thing up, and I just haven't done it. Stevia, whatever. This soap's probably better anyway. All right. So while that chicken's browning in, I'm gonna go ahead and dice our garlic. And like the beans are already cooked, so we're just gonna drain them. Corn's already cooked; it's just frozen, so we're gonna put it in at the end. So I mean, this is really, really simple. Not a lot of prep work involved, but you're gonna have leftovers. I mean, for me, I'll probably have leftovers for 2 or 3 days. you know, a couple meals of them, because I can kind of stretch this into something else if I need to, or cross utilize it into something else. So for this case, I'm going to smash it down pretty hard. And we're going to get the paper off. Paper should just come right off just like that. It's almost magic how easy it comes off. Alright, so we got our garlic ready to go here. We're just going to kind of mince this up. Kind of get it all back into a pile and just go over it again. And over it again. And just keep going over it until you get it the size you want it. I think we're about there. Just a little bit smaller than the onions. There we go. That's good. So we got our garlic diced up, peppers and our onions ready to go. Spinach is already washed and ready to go. So now we're just kind of playing the step-by-step waiting game here. So now we got chicken in. Get this kind of mashed up. We're not really gonna see a lot of browning on ground chicken because it just, I mean, we don't really need it super brown for this application, but I don't really use ground chicken that often. But for this kind of deal, I think it's the best option. I was thinking about getting chicken thighs and just kind of cutting them really, really thin and kind of letting them braise down, almost like shredding them and making that kind of style of chili. Has a little bit more texture to it, but I think this will kind of be better for what I want to do. So we're going to season this chicken, salt, because chicken has literally no flavor, but it's getting a little bit from that chorizo fat. Pepper. I'm going to go ahead and actually add some of our seasoning in from the soup. That way we're kind of carrying it over. So a little bit of chili powder, probably about a teaspoon. And I got some dried oregano here. Normally I wouldn't use dried herb, but oregano is better dried in my opinion. So we're going to do, can't really tell how much is coming out. There we go. Probably about a tablespoon of that. So oregano is one of the better spices that's dried. Like dried parsley is a joke. It's just green sawdust, so don't ever use dried parsley. I think you're gonna get any flavor out of it. A little red pepper flake, probably about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, depending on how hot you like it, and a little bit of cumin, probably about a tablespoon. And we're gonna add more of those spices later on to the soup as well, but this way we're gonna kind of get that flavor base ready for it. So that way it's kind of carrying all the way through the soup and not just kind of on the beginning or the end of it. You want it to carry all the way through, because sometimes, you know, when you're eating like a chili or a soup, it tastes really good at first and then it kind of gets bland after a while. I don't want that to happen. I want you to enjoy it. Every single bite needs to taste better and better and better, or just as good every single time. Alright, so this chicken's about there already, so we're gonna go ahead and take it out so it doesn't get dried out too much, because chicken is the best thing other than fish to dry out. So we're gonna do, take this chicken, slotted spoon, and we're just gonna kind of get it. Normally I would be working to the right of me, but got limited real estate in this kitchen, you know. Got kittens everywhere, come to see what's happening. And it's okay if these touch, they're cooked, so don't freak out if your chorizo and your chicken are touching. Wouldn't even really matter if they touched in the beginning, you know what I mean? Because it's all getting cooked anyway. Alright, so we still got some fat in there, which is good. So we're gonna put that back on. Kind of let some of that water dissipate a little bit that dropped out of the chicken. Sometimes when they grind chicken and package chicken, they add a solution, a saline solution of salt and other kind of flavorings and water. So that way it keeps the chicken moist, but it also kind of adds weight to the chicken as well, so they can get more bang for their buck. Industry secret there. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add our onions and our peppers. So a little handful by handful here. I know there's an easier way to do this, but not in this kitchen at least. Your kitchen might be different. You might have more room than me. We're also gonna go ahead and throw the garlic in. So that was 3 cloves of garlic, so it's probably like about 2 to 3 tablespoons minced. If you want to buy the pre-minced stuff, which I don't really recommend, but do you? You can also get garlic powder. It's just not going to be the same flavor. It's going to be more of like a kind of muted garlic flavor, if you will, kind of like what you taste on like barbecue and that kind of thing. All right. So now we're gonna get this kind of stirred around here. It smells delicious already because you still have the spices and all the chorizo and everything in this fat that it's cooking in. So it's still kind of like amazing, you know? My whole house is gonna smell delicious. All right, so next what we're gonna do, all I really have to do next is just mince up some cilantro and parsley, which I'm going to kind of wait on so that way it doesn't kind of die on me. And then what we'll get going once we get this chili going, once it's all together, I'm going to start working on the rice, which is basically just maybe mincing up another clove of garlic, and then we're going to toast the rice in some oil with the garlic, and then we're going to add some chicken stock in some water because I don't do full stock cooking on my rice because stock isn't all water. You know, you have protein in there and other things from the meat of whatever you're making it from, in this case chicken. So it's not all water. So when you're cooking with rice, a lot of times it'll tell you like a ratio, like 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 or 1 1/4 to 1, whatever kind of rice you're working with. But that's water, straight water. So if you do the same with stock, let's say you do 2 cups of stock to 1 cup of rice, it might not be enough. The rice might still be hard when you're ready to kind of go. So that's when you kind of have to evaluate, you know, and kind of build as you go. But for me, I do half and half. So you can see how much rice this is. Oh, I got it right here. Considering it's in, I'm pretty sure it's a cup. It looks like a cup, but it might not be. And this is jasmine rice, so it's a little bit harder to cook. It takes a little bit more skill, so yeah, it's about a cup. Well, no, it's about 2/3 of a cup. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do about that much rice needs about 1.5 cups of water. So we'll do about 3/4 cup of stock, and then 3/4 cups of water, and then maybe give or take. So these vegetables are kind of sweating off nicely. So we just salt and peppered them. Getting ready to get these spices over just in case we need them, because we are going to need them. Whoever called me left a voicemail. I don't know who you are, so people just randomly calling. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Or is there anything I could add to it? Actually, you can add some thyme. That would be good in there. I got some thyme that's left over from the pork chop stream. That's kind of the cool thing about cooking, you know, is just go with the flow. Kind of whatever you have in the kitchen, you can kind of pop in there and see what's good. So a little fresh thyme in there, about 3 sprigs if you got it. If not, don't worry about it. Alright, so what we're going to do now, that's kind of where I want it. Put this here for now. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add all this back in. Fat and everything off that plate. Keep this as a landing zone. And we're gonna kind of bring all this together. Yeah, this is gonna be amazing. So now, what you can do here is you can add a little flour, which I'm not gonna do. That way when you add a little bit of flour, you'll kind of make a little bit of a roux with the remaining fat in here, and then when we add our stock and our liquid, it'll kind of thicken over time. This isn't gonna be like ground beef and like a really heavy tomatoey based chili that you're kind of used to. You grab a water. Been talking all day and then come home talk more, you know? All right. Let's see, we got anybody watching? Ugh. 4 people, not bad. I was hoping around this time there'd be more people watching, but you never know. Alright, so that's coming together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some stock. So this is a quart of stock. So we're probably going to add, I don't know, enough to cover it. That way I still have enough left for my rice. Yeah, so that's good. Alright, so let this come up to a simmer. So I'm going to add a little more salt since, you know, we're going to get some salt from the chorizo, but that chicken stock is unsalted. And then we're going to add a little more red chili flake, just another touch. A little more chili powder, probably about another, I don't know, teaspoon and a half maybe. More the better in my opinion. A little bit more oregano. Or basically just flavoring the liquid we added, you know, just fortifying it. And a little cumin, a little bit more cumin than most. And people are probably wondering why I'm gonna add Italian cheese to it. It's because I like the flavors of those cheeses. I think it works well with what we're doing. And by those cheeses, I mean shredded low moisture part skim mozzarella, aged fontina, aged parmesan, aged romano, and aged medium Asiago natural cheese blend. Like I said, it was on sale. It looks good, it's gonna be good, so. Because in reality, those Mexican blend cheeses that you get are just cheddar, Colby Jack, and that kind of stuff, so. Sometimes mozzarella and that kind of thing, so it's still gonna taste very similar to what you're already used to. Alright, so we're going to kind of let that come up, and now we're going to work on our rice. Just in case I knock that over, which I probably would do. So now we're going to grab one more clove of garlic here, and for this case I am going to leave it sliced for the rice. So you can actually kind of treat it like an onion almost, just cut off the ends, since these are pretty big cloves, and just peel it that way. These are actually really big cloves, which is good, makes it easier to slice, so. So you see that little green seed in there? I remember one of my chefs used to make me take that out. It was annoying. But I mean, it does taste kind of, you're not really going to notice it if you're not used to it, like not used to noticing it, but. Alright, so we're going to cut this, probably about a couple slices. I like slicing it for this because I like to, when it toasts with the rice, I don't want it to burn before the rice does, you know. Like, because if rice burns, you're screwed. If the garlic burns, you're screwed. Because they're two very, very strong flavors, and burn in general is a very strong flavor. So, it's like when people call like charred stuff, you know, when you cook something on the grill, that's the whole point, is it? That you're eating burnt shit, essentially. Damn, I was trying not to cuss this much on stream. I'm trying to get better. All right. So now we're just kind of waiting a little bit, bringing this up to warmth. And we're kind of just chilling now, honestly. Waiting for everything to kind of come together here. Right now I would clean up a little bit, but my dishwasher's full, and I'm just going to throw that in the dishwasher because it's the best way to sanitize a cutting board like that, in my opinion, because you get the heat and everything from the dishwasher as opposed to just washing it with a, you know, sponge and a rag or whatever you want to do. So we're waiting for this pan to get warm here. And then we're going to chop up, so what we're going to do once the rice finishes, we're going to toss in a bunch of parsley and cilantro and kind of toss it together with some salt and pepper. That way it has a nice, the rice itself tastes good. You know, so a lot of times you'll just get some bland white rice on the side when you go to a restaurant or something like that, and you're kind of just like, all right. So the only way it tastes good is when you combine it together. So in my opinion, you know, having rice that tastes good, it's just only gonna make the dish that much better, because you're not just trying to like add mass to the dish or like add value with the rice, because rice is cheap as shit. You know, anybody can buy rice and make it. So the idea is to kind of elevate it with whatever dish you're making, and to kind of have it coincide with the flavors of that dish. So I'm going to put fresh garlic, pressed parsley and cilantro in this at the end, you know, and I'm also going to have it in my rice, so that way they're basically holding hands in flavors, you know. So we're going to add a little oil in there, about a tablespoon or so. I'm trying to be better on saying measurements in case people are following along at home or watching the YouTube and trying to write stuff down or whatever. So yeah, so basically we're almost actually there. So this is cooking. Like I said, this will probably let go for about 20 minutes or so, basically the length of however long the rice is going to take, which is typically about 20 to 25 minutes for jasmine rice, depending on how much you're making, but typically that's what you're doing. And there's a bunch of different ways to cook rice, you know what I mean? So if you have a favorite way of doing it, like in a rice cooker or in the oven or something like that, or in a baking pan, I've done millions of different ways in restaurants, so I mean, it's literally up to you how you feel most comfortable doing it. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is to start in a pan like this, toast it and everything like that with your flavoring, add your liquid, put a lid on it, an oven safe lid obviously with an oven safe pan, and then pop it in like a 350 degree oven. That way the rice is cooking from all angles, not just the bottom. So it's steaming everything, it cooks a little bit faster and a lot more evenly. Sean Brock does something like that. It's called Charleston ice cream. If you ever go to one of his restaurants, Husk or McCrady's, I don't know if he still does it at McCrady's in Charleston, but that's what he does. Because it comes out of the pan and then he puts it on a sheet pan and tosses it with butter and also puts it back in the oven to kind of finish it. So it's Charleston gold rice, so it's very, very delicate rice and very easy to overcook. Very, very easy to overcook. All right, so we're gonna add our garlic in here. Kind of whoosh that around. I'm gonna add my rice immediately because they're gonna take about the same amount of time to toast. And then we're gonna add our liquid to our cup here. So just kind of mix that around, kind of toss it over and over a little bit, kind of get all the rice kernels coated. The oil. I use a spoon, kind of break those garlic cloves up a little bit. And just kind of let them toast. Let them do their thing. You don't need it. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit because this can go from amazing to awful very, very quick if you don't pay attention. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna add about, how much do I have? So I have about a half a cup left of chicken stock. So I'm gonna add about a cup of water. So I need 1.5 cups total, so. Roughly 1.5. So this is 1.5 cups of cooking liquid. Just keep an eye on your rice, constantly keep it moving. You're not really looking for brown. You see how some of it's kind of turning white and some of it is still clear. That means the ones that are getting white and opaque like that are getting toasted. So I'm adding a little bit of salt to this mixture because it is basically mostly water, so it doesn't taste like anything. Keep this stirring up. Like I said, I'm not looking for a lot of like brown. I just want the garlic and the rice to kind of pre-cook a little bit. And if you get a little bit brown, it won't hurt a lot. Just don't make sure you don't burn it. All right, so this is at a nice simmer. I'm gonna turn it down just a touch more. We don't want it boiling. We just want it kind of simmering like this, a nice even simmer all the way around. And there's not a lot of fat in this. You know, chicken doesn't have a lot of fat. They don't grind the skin with the chicken typically, unless you ask them to, if you go to a specialty butcher or something like that. So it's not like, you know, beef and pork grind where they have different kind of grades, you know, like 80-20, 85-15, 73-27, whatever you're looking for. Whereas chicken is either just grind only breast or the whole thing, thigh, wing, breast, leg, everything, but they remove the skin. So you're just left with whatever fat is remaining in that chicken, which is not very much. So that's why they can call it lean or extra lean. Extra lean is only breast. But I like the flavor of thigh and leg, so that's why I use it. All right, so this rice you can see is pretty much all opaque and white. That's exactly what we want. So now what we're gonna do, add our liquid. All right, so now what we're gonna do is let this come back up to a boil. Make sure it's, I like to shake the pan a little bit, just kind of get the rice even. So let this come back up to a boil, and then we're gonna turn it all the way down to low, and we're gonna put this lid on it and just let it go for about, basically until the liquid's gone and the rice is cooked. I mean, typically about 15-20 minutes, but that's really what you're looking for. I don't like to put a strict hard time limit on things because everything is different. Like if you're cooking on a gas stove, you can control the heat a lot better than I can. Electric is the worst to control the heat. So if you're on a gas stove, you can control the heat a lot better and it might take less time for you. So just keep that in mind. Electric and gas stoves are very, very different. All right, so I'm gonna clear my garbage bowl real quick. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and rinse it out. And I'm just gonna use this as my landing zone for the parsley and the cilantro. Thinking here. We're thinking. Alright. So the rice is almost up to a boil again. This is going well. Alright, so right there, see how the rice is back up to a nice simmer? That's where we want it. So what we're gonna do, lid on, heat down to very low, the lowest it can go, and just walk away, let it go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add my corn. It's still frozen, so we'll take a little bit of time to kind of do its thing in the soup. I might not use all this. This is a what? Almost a pound bag, 14 ounces, so let's see how, we'll kind of see how much we need here. Probably about there. So probably about half of this bag, or about 7 ounces or so of corn. Maybe about, I don't know, half a cup, if you want to measure it that way. What you can always do too is we can add a slurry at the end, which is a mixture of cornstarch and water, which can kind of thicken this up a little bit too. I may do that, I don't know yet, we'll see. That way I can kind of get a little bit more chili consistency. But frozen corn's in, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap this in plastic as well, put it back in the freezer while it's still frozen. You never wanna thaw something out of a freezer and then refreeze it. that's just asking for bacteria and freezer burn and all kinds of stuff to happen, so just don't do it. Back in the freezer. And then what we'll do next is we'll go ahead and drain our white cannelli beans here. You can get them at any grocery store, any kind of brand, I'm sure has them. So what I'm gonna do is just drain these out, which I can just leave the lid on and drain them out that way. And then what I do is I get a little cold water and I put this in the can with it and just kind of shake it around a little bit, kind of get that residual off, and then drain that as well. That way you're not dirtying up a bunch of like strainers or other dishes. You can just use the can. All right, so we got our beans drained here, ready to go. Got a cat there. She says hello. She's meowing for food when it's clearly in front of her. So that corn, as you can see, kind of cooled down the soup a little bit, so we can turn our heat back up a touch just to kind of bring it back up. So you can kind of see how chicken doesn't necessarily kind of fall apart like beef does when it cooks. So it almost looks like noodles, kind of. All right, so let's go ahead and chop up some parsley and cilantro, since this is the last thing we got to do here, prep-wise. So I got cilantro. I've already washed it and dried it, which I just ran under the faucet and dried it off with some paper towels. So basically what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to kind of take, I don't know how much here, because the stems of cilantro are fine, but I don't really want stems of the parsley, so I'm just going to kind of chop some off the bunch here. I just kind of start mincing it right from the start. And then I'll come on this side as well. And let's see where that gets me. That looks like enough. So then I'll just kind of run my knife through it again. Make sure you have a sharp knife, because if you do this with a dull knife, you're just gonna like pulverize it, and it's gonna turn to mush and stain your cutting board and shit. So you don't want that to happen. In culinary school, we had to mince it until it was like perfectly minced, but dry. You know what I mean? Which is really weird, but that's what we did. All right, so that's good enough. That's all I need it for. So I'm gonna put my cilantro in there. I'm gonna do the same kind of similar thing with parsley, except I just want some of the leaves here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring it over like this, and I'm gonna kind of rip off a chunk there and a chunk there. So I got some parsley leaves here, and what I do is I kind of ball it up like that into a ball. Put it down, same thing, and just start mincing. Again, go with speed you're comfortable at. Mince the way you're comfortable with. I mean, these are just the steps. This is a guideline. Cool thing about cooking is you can literally do whatever you want. So you can take any of this stuff that I'm doing and make it your own. You don't have to use chicken. You could use ground pork. You could use ground beef if you wanted to. You know what I mean? It's unlimited. So if you're a vegetarian, you could use that Beyond Impossible stuff and vegetable stock and that kind of stuff. If you want to do that, go that route, by all means. I'm not going that route because I don't want to. But shout out to the people that do. So we'll get all these herbs up here. You will kind of make a little bit of a mess, but it is what it is. And we're just gonna get them back here. Get all this little extra stuff that kind of fell. Kitten. And Rinse my hand off. All right. So now everything's kind of coming together. This thyme has done its job. You can see all the leaves have kind of fell off of it mostly. It's definitely cooked. So we'll just get rid of this thyme here. Rice is coming along nice. I'm actually gonna kind of turn it up because jasmine can actually take a little bit more heat than others. All right, so let's go ahead and add our beans. This is a good time to add them. Let them kind of soften up and cook a little bit as well and kind of suck on some of that flavor. Actually, I'm gonna recycle that. So I'm gonna rinse this out. Recycle, recycle, recycle. Hi, chica. All right, so you can see now we're getting some more color in there. You got yellow, white, red, and then we'll have green with the spinach and the herbs. So it'll actually look really cool when it's all kind of done. It'll be really pretty when it's plated up. I think I am gonna do the cornstarch thing. So I have cornstarch here. This entire thing has lasted me years because, I mean, it's cornstarch. So I'm gonna take this cup, add a little starchy starch. It's good for your balls too if you're sweaty in the kitchen, and pinch. Watch out then. I don't want to get cornstarch in your eye. I don't know if that's just what happened to you, but hope not. So I'm gonna use hot water so that way it just combines faster with the hot liquid. So basically just add a little water, mix it up, and we got a slurry. As simple as that. And this is gonna get as thick as it's ever gonna get when it comes to a boil. So I'm gonna add a little bit at a time, just because I don't want it to get super, super thick on me. So add a touch and mix it around so that way it gets evenly throughout. And we'll kind of let that sit for a minute and see how thick that gets. Hopefully my bit rate through my phone's going all right. I probably should start going through my computer to make it better, which I think I'm going to do next time because I have the capability now. But for right now, this is working pretty well. A lot of people are liking my post, which is great. This cat I'm going to trip over one day, I swear to God. I swear to God, I'm going to trip over this cat one day. Sort of cool. Because we also are going to add cheese too, so that'll also kind of help thicken it up. So that's kind of actually good right there. Because once we add the cheese, that'll also help thicken it up too. It's a cat, man. It's in our own little world. Alright. So our rice, as you can see, I don't know if you can see through the lid on the camera, but the water is almost gone. You can see it kind of bubbling down the rice. That's a good sign. So let's get this spinach open, or sorry, or cheese. God, I need to drink my water. Shh, Aurora, stop. Hi. 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 Give you a treat in a second. Goodness. Give them treats once, and you know what I mean? All right, so the rice is coming along. I'm gonna go ahead and add my spinach, because spinach pretty much disappears, so it'll look like a lot at first, but it won't be, trust me. So we'll start with half the bag, see where that gets us. And just kind of stir it into the chili. See how it's kind of starting to disappear. Aurora. Such a baby, man. Even though you're an old woman now. 10 years old, I think. 11 years old? 10 years old. I guess that's not old for a cat. You're at your midlife crisis, man. I see a timestamp. I'll grab that. See now, see how pretty that got just by adding the spinach. And then we'll add some parsley and cilantro. I'm just gonna kind of mix them up in the bowl here. Add a good little sprinkle because fresh herbs are amazing and stuff. Save the rest for my rice, which is almost done. So now we got pretty much everything in but the cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and taste this to see where my salt and everything's at. It's got good heat to it, needs a touch more salt. That's about it, honestly. It's got real good heat to it. It's not like knock you down heat, but you can definitely know it's there. All right. So now I'm basically gonna just kind of turn this heat off because I don't really need it hot anymore like that. And we're gonna add some cheese. Some of this cheese right here. Some cheese. Start with, I don't know, shit, about a quarter cup. This is 1.5 cups, so I used about a half of it, so about 3/4 cup. Mix that in, just kind of get that melted and kind of all consistent and ooey gooey. Yeah. Yeah. Man, cooking is the way to go, dude. Who knew those 12 years could end up paying off? Hopefully end up paying off. All right, so I'm gonna add a little more spinach. Just kind of give it a little more hit of green there. And we're basically done, yo. Like the rice is almost there. Once the rice is done, I'm gonna hit it with the herbs, a little salt and pepper. And then we're gonna plate this bitch, all right? So now it's starting to look more like chili. Once it kind of all comes together. So you got kind of a blend of ingredients here. You kind of got a lot of Italian influence with the cannelli beans and the cheese and the red pepper flake and that kind of stuff. And you also got kind of a little Mexican thing going on or Spanish thing going on with cumin and chili powder and all that. So I don't like the word fusion because I think it's a cop-out, but because everything, this entire country is fusion. So I mean, we as a people are fusion, you know what I mean? So I don't like to use that word, but if that makes sense to you, then we'll call it fusion. Perfect. So see how that looks? I mean, all right, so since I forgot to unload my dishwasher, don't mind me while I take out a plate. and a charger plate. Aurora, this is my food. Your food's over there. So I'm gonna use this ladle, make it easier for plating. I don't know if y'all have a ladle. If not, I suggest you get one. I actually took this from a hotel I used to work at. So. Alright, so this rice. Oh yeah. Looking good. Yeah, so it's done. So you can turn this heat off here. And what I'm gonna do is kind of fluff it with a fork. I'm gonna kind of add a little bit of salt on top just to kind of give it a little burst of flavor. A little bit of pepper. And then we're gonna add some more of our herbs here. Decent amount of those as well. Aurora, do you want my attention that bad, darling? Like, you get it every day, you know that. So now we're just gonna kind of fluff this up here. See how all the kernels are still kind of separate because we toasted it in oil. That way it kind of helps it not be so clumpy. Just kind of fluff that up. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the lid back on and kind of let it finish off there. So I don't need this anymore. If I ever fall and break a hip, you know why. Oh. I think I was at like 7 or almost 10 viewers at one point. All right. So I'm gonna let that rice kind of just finish for a second. Aurora's gonna keep yelling at me because I'm not sitting over on the couch with her yet. Let me do something. All right. All right. So now we got nice and kind of fluffy rice here. And it's all kind of, see how it's all not like clumping, mushed together. You know, sometimes you get overcooked rice and it's just disgusting. So there's kind of two ways to do this. You can either kind of put the rice down first and then ladle the soup over, but you're not really going to see the rice that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ladle the chili and the soup, kind of a mixture of both, right into the plate bowl. Make sure we get some of the liquid. Make sure you get a little bit of everything, some chicken, some chorizo, some spinach, corn, all that. You want all the kind of colors in the bowl, so that way it looks pretty. So what I do is I kind of mound it up in the middle a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of take a spoonful, flip it over kind of quick, push it down. Same thing. So now you got rice there. I'm gonna add a little bit more fresh herbs on top, just kind of make sure that comes throughout the dish. It makes it look kind of pretty too, you know, obviously, because green things are always pretty. And that's literally the dish. And that's the dish right there. So, I mean, you can't really beat that, you know? I guess I could do it here, it's probably easier. But, let me see if I can get my zoom in here. I mean, that's the dish. It's super simple. Super easy to do. As you can see, it took me however long the stream was. And I just kind of thought of this off the top of the head, you know. The weather was kind of cold today, so I wanted something that was going to be good and hearty and nice. So let me get an actual real up close version here. So this is a dish. You can see all the herbs coming through. Need better lighting, man. I mean, it looks good, feel good, tastes good, and look how much I have left. So for 20 bucks, you know, this meal is gonna feed me probably 3 or 4 times, honestly. You know? And pretty much no mess to clean up. All this is going in the fridge, back in the cupboard, fridge. I'll use those herbs again. I'll probably just toss the remaining bit of those herbs into the soup. Rice in a Tupperware, this in a Tupperware, wash the pans, you're done. I mean, 20 bucks in 1 hour of your time. Thanks, Mom. 20 bucks in 1 hour of your time, you know what I mean? You got a pretty elegant dish. You know, this is something I would feel comfortable serving in the restaurant as well. Obviously, I would kind of tweak it and manipulate it a little bit more to make it a little bit more restaurant ready. The other one came to say hello because he heard the commotion from the other one. But, you know, this is something I feel comfortable with serving in a restaurant. Everything that I've done on my stream so far, I'd serve in a restaurant. You know, and I could probably get, this dish cost me 20 bucks for 4 or 5 portions. You know, I could easily charge 15 bucks for this dish just for a plate of chili. You know what I mean? And people would buy it if it's good. So that's the idea behind this whole thing, is to just make sure you're spending your money right, you're still getting good quality food out of it, and you're feeling good about it, so there's no point if you don't, right? So that's the dish, and I'm gonna make sure my hair is not all crazy after wearing that GoPro. But this has been about another hour or so stream. We're at what, an hour and 3 minutes so far. So this has been another good one too. I feel comfortable about that one. So this is gonna go on YouTube as well. So make sure you check that out in case you want to watch it again, or you can just watch the VOD again on Twitch. But feeling good about it. You know, we're getting a little bit more of a following, hopefully. I don't know how many viewers we have right now. I think 4 maybe. Yeah. So hopefully we'll grow a little bit. Hopefully people will become interested, you know. And yeah, I'm gonna see what the hell these cats want. Actually, you know what? For the content, let's give them some treats. You know what I mean? Hold on. Let's do it from point of view status. Because why not? Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Pops. All right. Let's give these cats what they want, huh? Watch this. Come on. Yeah. This is what you want. So watch the difference between these 2 cats. Watch how gentle this one is. She's so gentle. And then we got this one, the pumpkin kitten, that just snaps at it. Like a shark. Kitten, no, hey. There's plenty to go. But what I do with her to keep her active is I try to get her to run a little bit. Hey. So I throw them, and then she goes and gets them. Tommy. Yeah. Kittens like treats. Whoop-a! Use your hunter skills, cat. Sometimes she can't find them, and I'm kind of worried about her as a cat. Tom doesn't really chase them. He's just kind of lazy. The most I can get out of him is if I do this. Watch him just waddle to it. Watch his little waddle, man. Doom, 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 doom. He just strolls to it. Where she's like, yeah. Oh, really, Aurora? It's behind you. Man. Whoop. That's enough. That's enough treated. I don't want you guys to get too much of this. Alright, so yeah, that was a nice little end of the stream thing, I guess. But so yeah, that's it for the stream. For this one at least, I'm gonna try to play some Apex maybe later tonight. I don't know. It's already 9 o'clock where I am. Worked all day today. Got to work tomorrow too, and Saturday and Sunday, 7 days in a row this week. Gotta love it. So I may hop on. I think my cooking streams are more of a draw to people, hopefully, than anything else. But in the end, I'm kind of doing it for myself as well, and hopefully this can go somewhere, because it's kind of a nice little hobby for me to take up and put my time and energy into something else. So I'm gonna enjoy this dish again. I actually like this too because I get to eat really well. But I'm gonna go ahead and eat and enjoy it. Thanks mom and dad for tuning in, appreciate it. Yeah, so let me know, whoever else is out there, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, and down in the comments, you know, post some ideas or something that you want to see. Everybody has a favorite dish that they want to see somebody else make, you know, so if you have something that you like that you would want me to do, then shout it out and I'll try to make it happen for you. Other than that, this has been another good stream, so yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy this dish. I'll put the finished product on a close-up of it on Instagram and on Twitter, so make sure you follow me there at Cannigan TV as well. And for all those wondering, Cannigan is a Celtic word for lead wolf or lone wolf. It kind of hit home with me. It's been the name of my characters on some video games and stuff like that, so it's kind of carrying over. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed the stream. Have a good night. Take it easy. Stay safe and everything like that. I have a text from a girl. That's awesome. Maybe this cooking thing is gonna work out. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed the stream. Let me know if there's anything I can do for y'all that makes it better. Otherwise, in the meantime, follow, like, subscribe, the whole cliche social media thing that people do. And yeah, hope y'all enjoy it. Take it easy.